Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Guys, everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass, guys, because 32 years ago I was a dumbass. But through the grace of God, 32 years later, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible, and it means donkey. And that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this, guys. You know, we've all had the toughest few years of our lives all over the world, not just here, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people didn't make it. Some family and friends of mine as well, through addiction, right? Depression. Well, I also had a cousin whose son committed suicide. So I'm talking from my heart of hearts, guys. I am a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. And guys, if you think my book can help someone, which I do, you can go to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing. It's on BAM, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, it's everywhere. Okay? And if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please, please reach out to me about that as well. I need you all to know someone is listening. You don't have to be alone. Okay? So you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com, and listen, everything's there, all my pages. You can even order the book from there, okay? You can reach out to me. My shows are there. Please, please reach out. And also go to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. A lot of cool things are happening. So I want to introduce first and foremost my guest co-host, Justin Drummond. Say hello to everyone, Justin.
Really excited to be back, and this actually might be my favorite show that I've done with you so far.
Well, you've brought me some incredible, incredible guests, so I have no doubt with that, okay? Just his smile alone, okay, and dancing to my theme song. Come on, all right? I think you're right, Justin. But you know what? I'm going to give you the honors, Justin. Properly, please, please tell everyone who our guest is.
Okay, so if there's anyone out there like in Canada, you may recognize him from the Canadian version of Big Brother. We unfortunately do not get to watch Big Brother in Canada because I don't really know of some restrictions. But as soon as I found out like who this person is and what he's about, like, and the similar struggles that we have, like, I had to get him on, and we're gonna talk a bit about that today. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Justin. Thank you. I'm glad you reached out. This is exciting. I'm happy to be here. Geri, thank you for having me. This is it's gonna be a blast. Great theme song, by the way. This is it's a lot of fun right off the rip.
Thank you. I had it made when I first started. It was really cool. I'll make you laugh about the theme song first, though. Okay, so someone approached me and said, you know, I do these theme songs. Would you like one? I said, absolutely. So they send me the words and an audio of it. I don't even know if you know this, Justin. And this is what it sounded like. I'm not an addict, I'm just an... I called them up, I go, what do you want my friends to kill themselves? Listen, no, it cannot sound like that. It has to be silly and fun, okay? So thank you for that. So let's start, all right. Well, let me ask Justin something first off. So Justin, let's share a little bit. Tell the audience why this show is going to be so important to you. Tell them a little bit about your background.
Okay, so this is actually my first time explaining my whole story with mental health, and we're also going to hear a little bit of Kyle's as well. I've never really, and I'm trying not to get emotional. Many of you out there, like if you have listened to me on the Geri Petito show, you do know that I have some struggles. But what you don't know is that I have a very, very severe case. I was diagnosed with OCD and intrusive thoughts, and I literally thought like that. It literally is definitely it's the end for me, because I was thinking like there's nobody out there like who would understand like these thoughts that I'm trying that the thoughts that I have, and like I like these thoughts like are just like so wrong on so many levels, like, and I'm such a good person, like how can I like have like these thoughts? But the reason why I did reach out to Kyle is because like he definitely made me feel like I was absolutely not alone, and even like it was just through like a TV screen, but or a phone screen, but I'm really glad I reached out to this person.
So we won't go into your thoughts because you've shared them with me as well. And I just want to say that I thank God that you found Kyle, okay? Because Kyle, what I want to say to you is this: with the little bit that I do know about you, okay, God bless you, man, all right? The people that you're helping. Why don't we start with you now, Kyle, as far as give us the mic is yours. Give us your journey and where you came from, whatever you want to share, and what brought you to here, okay?
Yeah, well, thank you. And Justin, I just want to say, man, before we kind of jump into things, I mean, the fact that this is the first time that, you're saying that you're sharing this stuff, like that's huge, man. I don't want to cuss. It's a big effing win. So I'm proud of you, dude. That's awesome to be able to, that was something that for me was a huge stepping point in my journey, was the first time that I sat down in front of a mic and said, hey, this is what I'm going through. And I took back the power that this thing had over me. This thing, when it stays in your head and it stays internal, it does a number. But when you speak it out into the world and you see the fact that by putting it out there that, things don't crumble around you and that, life goes on, you get to take a little bit of that power back. So I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome.
Wait, I want to interrupt you for 1 second, Kyle. Yeah, we don't curse on here, but you can say the letters. You can say F and all you want, okay, sweetheart? Continue.
Sounds good. Will do. So basically what it...
I was just gonna say, but one word we do allow on the show is the word ass, because it definitely
donkey
makes sense. Donkey. It's there.
We're talking about Geri here. We're talking about.
I love it. No, that's awesome. So basically, kind of where everything had started. I grew up in a small town in eastern Canada. And growing up, I dealt with OCD and general anxiety disorder. And those were two diagnoses I didn't get until I was in university. But certainly the trials and tribulations that came with those diagnoses were around way before I got the official diagnosis. And so from a young age, struggled with intrusive thoughts. I struggled with, needing to, checking OCD is what it's called, where I would be convinced that if I didn't check, under my bed and all the windows, make sure all the doors were locked before I went to bed, that horrendous things were going to happen to me and my family. The thing of every time my parents would leave the house, if I didn't say a certain cadence of words in a certain way and with the same tone, that they would experience horrendous things as soon as they left the house, and I'd never see my parents again.
Kyle,
and as I grew up with this,
how old were you when this started for you?
These are some of Geri. I'm telling you, these are some of my earliest memories. Genuinely my earliest memories in life are 4 years old of having these thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. And so basically, so I grew up with these things and didn't feel like I wanted to tell anybody about them, because I was just worried that there was something wrong with me, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to put it out there and think and have people treat me differently. I didn't want my parents to be worried about me, so I just kept everything inside. I didn't tell a soul about what I was going through. And then, as I went through high school and into university, experienced some crisis moments where, because of the things that were going on in my head and the things that I was experiencing, I was like, hey, if this is life, if this is the cards that I've been dealt, then hey, I'm gonna fold my hand. I'm sick of this. This is no fun. So I've been there twice in my life, at being at that rock bottom place. And the first time that rock bottom came along, the reason that I didn't the reason that I'm still here was because of the fact that I just thought that I just deserved to suffer. That was the thing. I thought because of these thoughts that were in my head, I was such a terrible person that I didn't deserve the relief that not being here would have provided. I deserve to suffer because I'm so terrible for having these thoughts in my head. And then when I was in university, I realized that, when I was in this crisis point again in my life, I realized the fact that, I've experienced all these extremes in life, all of these terrible extreme thoughts that have come in my head. And I kind of just had this realization as I remember I was sobbing on the floor of my kitchen. I was an absolute mess. And as I was crying, I just kind of realized, I was like, wow, like for years of my life, I've experienced some of the extremes of life. But if I'm able to experience the extreme terrible things, the extreme emotions, the extreme, intrusive thoughts, that means that I'm capable of experiencing extreme things. And if that's the case, then that would logically mean that I'm capable of experiencing the positive extremes of life. I'm capable of experiencing love and peace. And I'm capable of experiencing self-acceptance and radical self-acceptance and knowing that I'm capable of just living a full life. And second time I picked myself up off the floor, it was because I deserve to live.
Okay, I'm not going to interrupt a lot, but I have to interrupt you right here.
Of course, no.
What made that thought come into your mind? And this could help Justin as well and everyone listening. What all of a sudden made that transition where you were able to say, if I was able to experience this, I can now experience this?
Yeah, it's so funny because it's something that it's really hard to kind of pinpoint. I just remember being down there and I'm a very, and this is, with my OCD, I overprocess a lot of things that go on in my life. I think. My mind just goes. And I just remember just being down there and being like, wow, this has been, it's bad. And then just kind of, Jerry, honestly, I wish I could give you a definitive thought that clicked and something just snapped and was like, oh my God, this is, this just means that extremes are possible. But it just kind of just happened. I just remember just sitting there and just being like, oh my God, like things have been so extremely bad for so long. That means that I'm just capable of experiencing things in a big way. And if I just kind of like work on this, then maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's just a chance that I can experience this in a positive way. And does that not make it worth it? And so I don't know. I guess at that point it was kind of like, listen, life's dealt me a tough hand, and I guess it's just time for me to kind of like stop, in the corner, almost like a boxing ring where I'm just taking punches. And then I realized, hold on, I'm in a fight. I can punch back. And from there, I just kind of realized, I was like, wow, there's a lot more to this whole life thing than just the terrible stuff. And I don't know, something just clicked. I wish I could give you a definitive. I just know it's possible. That's all I know. I can't pinpoint exactly one thing.
How old are you now?
I'm 24.
Okay, so how old were you when all of a sudden this transition started taking place?
Yeah, I would have been about 21 years old. I was in the last year of my university degree.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically what had happened was, after I had that moment, I just realized that if I was going to go out, I wanted to at least see what life had to offer. I wanted to see if I could actually have a full experience of life. And I just kind of realized, I was like, either I talk about the stuff that's going on or I can't keep it bottled up anymore. And so that's when I decided to start my podcast, Life's a Wreck. I just decided one day, I had a background in radio, and I was like, listen, I've got nothing left to lose. That's the beautiful part about rock bottom, is that it gives you a solid foundation to build on. And I realized, I was like, hey, there's nowhere I can go down from here. So even if I talk about what I'm going through and I get ridiculed, I can't feel worse about myself than I already do. So I'm just going to at least give myself this one mercy. And that was the best thing that I ever did, was give myself this one mercy, this one little bit of self-love, where I decided to sit in front of a microphone and talk about the things that were going on with me. And I published it, and I realized if there's one kid who hears this and thinks, wow, that's me, and it normalizes it just that little bit, it's all worth it. And sure enough, I did that, and it started this journey of self-acceptance and sharing my story that's led to the happiest time of my life.
Now, did you write a book about this?
No,
Are you planning? You're planning it though, right?
I
hope so.
definitely I will get there one day for sure.
Kyle,
Absolutely.
I hope so. My prayers are going to be that that happens.
Thank you.
Um, wow. Okay. So, Justin, now I'll give you the mic. So, you talk a little bit about your journey.
Okay, yeah. Well, I definitely have like a little similar, but it's a little bit more different than yours, Kyle.
Mhm.
I could like, and it's a little bit out of order, but
It's okay.
my mom like would always tell me that like like things have happened that like might have been showing like early signs of OCD. Um, uh, and the OCD like really never really started getting a little bit extreme until like my last years of high school.
Yep.
I was always constantly like checking for like I don't know. I mean, like I always kind of felt like I had things in my possession that
Yeah.
don't really belong to me. So I would also
Mm.
I would constantly honestly check my pockets. Sometimes I would leave my pockets like out when I go into stores. Like stores like are a little bit like, and still to this day like are still very it's pretty much
I
like
get
just
it.
like
Yeah.
um I like and those like little detectors like I always get like so scared of like like me like like passing those detectors and just just like something is in my possession that really isn't mine like
Mhm.
I yeah and then I've been doing that for a while. I did go see a therapist after, and it did
Good.
help at first. Um, but then, like, I started like getting some new OCD like themes.
Yeah.
One of which was the intrusive thoughts of me, like, kind of trying to. My thoughts are like telling me like I'm someone that I'm already not, and
Yeah.
feel and almost like it's almost like they're saying like the damage is done because I'm constantly looking for like my therapist would always tell me like like where are the signs like you gotta
Mm.
like there are no signs. I mean I feel like I'm looking for the signs
Yeah.
and
Yep.
maybe I'm doing that a little too much.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing that a little too much because like my thoughts are telling me like oh I'm like this person or I'm that person like two people that I like don't really want to be. Okay. So so I am an out homosexual. Okay, I've been out for I believe 7 years. Okay, and sometimes my thoughts will tell me that like I am transgender.
Okay.
But I'm really not. I know like just because like I am a homosexual doesn't mean I'm transgender. Like and I just constantly like kind of like keep on like getting those thoughts. Like sometimes I would have to like kind of like I can't really do any like actions like without like thoughts of it like coming to mind.
Sure.
And then and this is the hard one, okay? Like because I really believe that this OCD or is possibly like the scariest OCD or mental illness in the world because it can definitely be misunderstood for other things.
Yep.
But I also have what's called POCD.
Yep.
Okay, and what that is that OCD that kind of like gives you thoughts that a pedophile would have.
Yep.
Okay, and that really is really really hard to talk about. Okay,
Don't-
like I
yeah,
like,
don't
I,
talk
like,
about
only
that,
a few
Justin.
people-
Yeah,
o-
I understand.
Only a few people know about that thought. Okay. I have never done anything like I have never done anything wrong, or I will never like.
Justin,
I'm sorry. I have never done anything like that,
Justin,
nor do I
let's
plan to.
let's not go there. Let's not go there. Okay,
Oh,
not
okay.
there. All right. So listen, the thoughts that you're having, right? I want to ask you something to help somebody out there listening that may need help. When you have thoughts that you know are not true, right? Where do you go with that? Like, are you trained? Do your therapists tell you like what to do and how to take those thoughts and get rid of them for the moment?
Yeah, like so. my therapist, or several ones that I've been to, always kind of talk about a little bit of what's called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
And I also have autism, so sometimes socializing and listening really isn't like my best strong suit. Okay. And I don't really know. I mean, I guess maybe I wasn't really doing it well, or maybe I've just decided that therapy doesn't work for me. I mean, I'm currently not seeing a therapist right now. I'm in the process of finding a new one, because I've seen 6 different therapists, and I'm honestly really scared that I may get to a point where I kind of just that I may have to come to a decision is my OCD not gonna get any better with therapy? Do I need
Yeah, I think Justin, I just wanted to say, first of all, I mean, you're certainly not alone. These are well studied OCD areas. The types of OCD that are out there. OCD is a broad and debilitating thing, and it comes in a bunch of different nasty shapes and sizes, and it can go from something as simple as making sure to check the stove is off, which can still be a very debilitating thing, to there's so many harm OCDs and pedophilic OCDs and all of those things. Dude, it's really tough, but you are certainly not alone. And this is certainly something that has been well documented and well studied. The fact that you are saying it out loud, like I said off the rip, I think that it's awesome, man. Honestly, genuinely, you're saying this stuff. You're vocalizing it.
I guess really, I'm not really giving myself a lot of credit, because
No.
I really should feel happy, that I'm sharing my story, and I should be happy that I'm not keeping
It's
it.
uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It is. It's super uncomfortable. But the fact that you're doing it is a massive win. Honestly, the fact that you're talking about it is great. So no, dude, I think at the end of the day, this is a big, I can tell as I'm sitting here with you right now, I can tell that this is a big step for you. And I think, and I can tell that this is not easy. And I think the fact that you're putting yourself in a difficult position and you're doing a tough thing and you're talking about the things that you experience that so many other people, the fact that, Justin, what you just talked about is something that somebody might listen to the show who's never once said that out loud. They've never, same thing. They might have kept that in for years and years and years and years and years. And all of a sudden somebody else out there is talking about it. And that's the thing, man. Like you said before, there's nothing you've ever done that would validate these intrusive thoughts that have come through. But the fact that you are willing to sit here and say that because of this mental illness that I struggle with, that I'm diagnosed with, that these are the things that are coming up, that's normalized. That's destigmatization. That is a crucial part about the mental advocacy field. So I think what you're doing is great. So definitely make sure after we're off this call and everything, give yourself a big pat on the back, because that's a huge step in a personal journey and also a huge step forward for advocacy for OCD. I think it's awesome.
Kyle, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I have a personal friend, and she struggles severely, and she was diagnosed with OCD, but her issues are different than yours and different than Justin's. Well, I don't really know all yours, but
Sure.
she sees therapist after therapist after therapist. Her home, they live like a hoarder's home, but yet she can't be outside and touch a handle because she doesn't want the germs on her. That's probably cleaner than her handle. And I love this person, and I've talked to this person and said these things. What advice would you have for someone like that as well? And then we'll get back to Justin.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. I think that it's important to put the caveat out there that, I'm not a doctor. I'm an advocate to share my story. But I would say with that person that one of the things that OCD attacks, and the reason that it's as debilitating as it is that it goes against a lot of the things, the values that you hold most dear. So, for instance, somebody who cares deeply about their family, they might have OCD, intrusive thoughts about harming their family if they don't do a certain set of skills or a certain set of things. And that's why it's so tough, is because you hold this thing so dear. And so if this person holds this control and cleanliness so dear to them, then it might be easier for them to rationalize the thing that they're going through now versus thinking about all of the terrible things that might exist outside of that realm of control. And I think the biggest thing is that, you know, in on a planet where, you know, we're just you know, space dust, realistically, you know, how we're here, why we're here, all of these questions that we have, you know, this all is out of our control. And there's a beauty in that idea that we don't have control over everything. And I think that it's one of those things where sometimes you just have to be willing to just give it a chance, but I understand how debilitating and how tough that is. So I definitely just want that person to know that, like, my heart goes out to them, because I can understand how scary it must be to leave that realm that they've created, they've cultivated for themselves, in which they have a little control that may have been taken away from them at multiple times in their life. So yeah, I definitely, my heart goes out to that person for sure, because that's a tough one. But I think it's just embracing this short time that we have on Earth, and understanding that none of, even the things that we think are in our control are incredibly out of them. So it's a bit of a radical acceptance, if you will, that I think is always kind of nice to think about.
So do you struggle daily, or do you struggle, I mean, like, you still have struggles, obviously, right? How often?
Yeah, it's a good question. I definitely, it's a part of my day-to-day life. Do I struggle on the day-to-day? No. Because it's simply how I see the world. Ever since I was a kid, like I said, my earliest memories are of OCD running the show. And so the way that I view life is through this lens. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that the lens isn't something that's 2 feet thick in front of both eyes and is, you know, welded to my head. It's something that, like, I do have a power over. It's me. I am the thing that is, you know, this yin and yang relationship that you have with your mind is such an interesting thing. And at the end of the day, you are in control, and there are certainly some chemical imbalances and some psychological factors that can, you know, be detriments for sure, but you still have a say in how you're going to approach it. So yes, I do definitely, it's something that still plays a role in my life, but I would say that it only gets really bad now at this point in my life. It used to be a daily thing for sure, but I'd say now, kind of like once every like 4 or 5 months, things kind of get like, that roller coaster hits its lows, and then I do the things that I know I need to do to get back on the highs.
So, okay, now Justin, so talk a little bit more about when you hit your lowest, what you do. Like he was saying, it's a roller coaster, and he does things also to bring him back up a little bit. What are the things that you might do?
Well, in the past, I've pretty much done the opposite. If I'm going to be honest with you, I literally thought as I like said before, I mean, I literally thought how can someone so good experience these thoughts, or thoughts that are trying to create you to be some sort of monster. And I didn't really go out that much. I definitely I could definitely say that I've been drinking a lot more, going out and partying, and sometimes I'll go out and have unprotected sex, and sometimes, and I actually am still vaping nicotine. I've been doing it way before, since the warnings came out about there being toxic metals and things. And do I have good days? Yes. I mean, and good days are absolutely better than no good days at all. But I mean, I can definitely say I haven't really accomplished exactly what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Found those healthy coping skills, would you say? You haven't quite gotten there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kyle, maybe you can tell us how you can get to that place a little bit.
It's, you said at the beginning, Jerry, about like tell me about your journey. And I think the beautiful part is that everybody's journey is very unique. And what works for me is certainly not the the brass tacks exactly what's going to work for everybody else. But what I would say, the things that have worked for me have been showing myself incrementally bigger and bigger elements of self-love, where if I'm in those lowest points, I just need a spark. When you're at rock bottom and it's completely dark all around you, I just need just something small, one foothold, one handhold that I can use to just get some momentum going. So what I've always found for me is that if I'm in my absolute darkest, something that I love to do is cook. And so typically when I find myself slipping into these terrible crisis, I can feel these crisis moments coming. I'll say, listen, I'm not gonna get dressed up and shower and do all these things. I'm gonna go into the kitchen and I'm just gonna cook myself one meal, just one, and then I can go back to my bed and I can sit and I can stew in the pain and the misery. But I'm just gonna do myself this one thing, and I'm gonna distract myself with a million other things. If I really, if I can't do it, I'm gonna throw a TV show on and music and whatever else, just to like keep my mind off it. And I'm gonna cook myself one meal. And I've always found that just that one little thing, as I'm sitting down and I'm eating that, I really, with every bite, I just make sure to kind of just like give that thanks to myself and say like, good on you, buddy. You did that. That's it. You just, good job for doing this one thing. And I've always found from that one thing, it just gives you that little, like almost like a lighter, and you're in a cave and it's just like this little, and all of a sudden you can just see a little bit. And like, okay, all right, I feel like I got my bearings a little bit. Now it's like, okay, you know what? I cooked myself a good meal. Tomorrow when I wake up, I don't care if it's at 9 o'clock in the morning or if it's 12 o'clock or if it's whatever. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm just going to go to do that. I don't have to like go for a long time. I might walk into the gym, do 10 push-ups and leave, but I'm going to go to the gym. And then all of a sudden I do that and I force myself to do this one little thing. I might resent myself the entire time and say like, you suck, you're the worst, you don't deserve to be here, all this stuff. But I just go and do it. And then as I'm leaving, I go, good job, buddy. You did this other thing. And all this, remember yesterday when you did that other little thing for you? Well, now you've done 2 good things for yourself in a row. And I've always just found that doing those like little things, just a little thing. And then when I do them, being like, rah, I might as well just won a marathon. That's always been a huge help for me, because it just gives me that little pick me up where I go, yeah, you know what? I can do good things for me. And then all of a sudden, you get 3 or 4 days in a row and I just find that my brain just kind of like reorients itself a little bit. And all of a sudden I just kind of feel a little bit more like myself again. That darkness kind of recedes a little bit. And I'm just like embracing this love that I've cultivated for myself over these past couple of days. And it's just, I've always found that for me, celebrating the small wins in the day to day is what's helped the most.
So I'm going to read a couple little poems today, but I'm going to read this one
Sure.
first, and there's a reason why. Justin, I think listening to Kyle, right, and there's other people out there listening, and I'm personally going to send this show to 4 people that need to hear what you have to say today. And the biggest thing from what I'm listening to is you just make yourself do it. Like you get into a mindset where you say, I know this is going to help, and I have to do this. This poem's called, that I wrote, Face It Till You Make It. Okay?
Yep, surprise, Kyle. Jerry is a woman of many talents.
Okay. I'm also a vegan chef, so when you said cooking, I cracked up. I'm like, honey, and I'm Italian. We love to cook and eat.
Hey, there we go. I love it.
Face it till you make it. Fake it till you make it is a term heard so much. I don't really agree. It's living with a crutch. Not just for addiction, all life lessons, my friend. That's a saddened life to live until the end. I'd rather go by a saying more real, face it till you make it in spite of how you feel. We got to grow up, put our past behind. In spite of our hurts, there's greatness to find. I'd rather go through life smiling every day, holding up my chin, all good things to say. Positive thinking and actions likewise throw out a force up into the skies. What we project is what we will earn. Karma is real. We each have a turn. Your thoughts are wired to make you think. With what you do can make you sink. Keep all your thoughts uplifting and real. Feeding your mind crap destroys how you feel. So don't put out crap. It comes back to bite. Stand up real tall and just fight the fight. I promise you this, if you face all your fears, it may be quite scary, but will add to your years. One day you'll be happy with who you are now. Just look at me, I've really come far. I look in the mirror and like what I see, but most important, I really love me. So I was an addict, obviously, and the things that went on. So I had to make that decision once and for all. And Justin, I love you, man, and I want you to take a little bit of advice. Face your fears, and nothing bad's going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen if you can do that.
Yeah, and that actually leads me to another question that I wanted to ask Kyle. Like when you were talking about fears, I did want to ask Kyle something.
Go ahead.
So Kyle, you know that you've told us and you've even told me a couple of times that you have thoughts about what's gonna happen to the people I love. I don't want anything bad to happen. And then I find out that you go on a reality show where there's absolutely no contact with anyone. Did you ever we're a little afraid about what's gonna happen with everyone?
Of course, every day, still did it. That was always the thing, man. It's I just realized that I think it was that idea of just feeling having that realization that I'm not in control. As much as I want to keep the people in my life safe, there's nothing that I can do. Even if I do all of the things that my brain tells me to do, anything can happen to anybody, and terrible things happen to people all the time. And I guess it kind of just made me, appreciate and just be like, you know what, I'm going to make the most of the time that I have with my people, and I'd never take a second for granted. And that's one of the beautiful things that's come out of this terrible mental illness that has debilitated parts of my life, is I don't take anything for granted. And when I did reality TV and I was locked away, I just went in there with the idea that I love my people and my people love me, and I'm very fortunate that I've got a support system who tells me that, and I tell them that, and they know that. And if anything bad was to happen to them, I would be crushed. But it's not on me. That's their life. It's theirs. I can't perceive what their life is, but it's their life. And bad things happen all the time. We see it on the news constantly, and it's scary as hell. It's terrifying. But I'm out of control. I can only control me. And so that's the thing. When I went and did reality TV, I only focused on controlling me. I know that they'll take care of themselves. I trust them to take care of themselves. I'm scared for them, of course. I'm scared that I don't get to, have the last word and say this and do that and check A, B, and C. But at the same time, I trust them, and I'm just going to take care of me because that's the only thing that I can. And I know also in that situation that the more that I'm locked into me, the better chance I have of pursuing this dream and chasing this goal. So I realized that if I'm going to try to if I'm going to try to keep everyone safe and blah, 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 then I'm just going to limit their lives. You know what I mean? I'm going to make them worried about, bad things. They got to do their thing. I got to do my thing. And that's the only thing that I can control. So that was my focus when I was there. I was scared, but just did it and just realized that I'm the only person who can control me. And that was the focus.
I want to share something with you guys. The producer here, Ruben, and I just got back from Yuma, Arizona. We went to all the borders. We were with Border Patrol, the Sheriff Department, and a man named Anthony Hudson, who's going to be running for President of the United States as bipartisan. The borders were dangerous. We did it anyway. They were armed, We went at 1 o'clock in the morning. We went all times of the day. These poor people. As you're talking, I'm thinking about their situations, right? And I'm listening to you, Kyle, and I'm thinking, when you're probably 40 years old, you should run for President of the United States, because you can help change lives. And I'm not just saying that. I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking, are you kidding me? This is someone, right? Someone that we could use.
Thank you. I might need to get my dual citizenship. I might need to travel south of the border. Maybe Prime Minister.
I'm laughing about it. And he's saying, we want him to, but he can't. I know that. But I'm just saying, just the stuff that you're saying. And I know you're going to be helping people here right now today, just by the stuff you're saying. I have a question for both of you. Justin.
Sure.
When you said that, because this is, I do a lot of health coaching. So I hear a little bit of this stuff. And mostly I hear about it from the parents of the child dealing with it. So I want to ask both of you a question. Justin, when you were saying that sometimes when you have to go through the security buzzer at stores, you're in a little bit of a panic, but you didn't steal anything.
Yeah, I know. I just like.
What? But that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking. Like, what goes on to make you even think that if you know you didn't steal something?
I don't really know. I just because I'm like sometimes I'll like touch something in the store and I'll like put it back, or like say like, oh, like I don't really like need those kinds of things, or and this was kind of mostly like sometimes like I do keep my pockets like in my pants
Okay.
like just to like try to challenge myself, like try to like get through it. I just constantly think like things like kind of like stick into my pockets, or like like those bags that you get out of like that sometimes like the stores provide you with.
Okay.
Or sometimes I'll think that like I bought something an extra, like so I would always have to constantly like ask for a receipt, and I know like the thing that kind of like always like made me feel better, whenever I have like any of like these thoughts, no matter what theme it is, I always kind of have to ask someone for reassurance, and I've been doing so much of that, I will tell you this: if I had $1 for like every time I've tried to get reassurance from anyone, I would be so rich. I would be so rich.
And that's a good thing, right? Think about that. Isn't that a blessing?
Uh,
How
well,
I
I mean,
how
like,
I understood that was that people have reassured you, or did I take that the wrong way?
uh, well, I haven't really figured out exactly what it is,
Okay.
but I sometimes I was having a conversation with my mom one time, and she immediately came in and said I think asking for reassurance is kind of doing a little bit more harm than good, because I think that because she said I think that you getting reassurance is a compulsion, and
Oh.
I always kind of think that in order to for OCD to get better, you gotta stop doing the compulsions, and then you'll get kind of used to a new system, and these thoughts are gonna happen a little bit less often.
Kyle, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that last part, like you said, Justin, that's always one of the things that a lot of therapists will tell you to do, and the therapists have told me too, is to, don't do any of it. Don't do go into the thing. So it would basically be for me, when I was younger, and granted, I didn't see therapists for a long time. So I guess I'll kind of use a more recent example, but I guess as I've gotten older, things like checking under my bed, checking the closet, checking windows and doors before I go to bed. That's still something. If I don't do that, this idea somebody's going to break in, murder my family, terrible ideas like that. And one of the things that a therapist told me is you got to just do it once. And it's going to be it's going to be like jumping into a cold plunge kind of thing, where it's you jump into this freezing cold water and you're just going to it's going to suck. It is going to be the worst thing that you've ever done, but you just got to see once if it won't happen. And so don't do the checkings, don't do anything. Just trust that life around you is going to it's going to work just once. And that was always something that it's a lot of people will tell you with OCD that you gotta make a practice of not doing the checking, because then your brain doesn't get that, it doesn't close that loop that it's opened and saying I need this thing to close it, and you go no, we're gonna close it a different way, and then okay, and then it stops kind of barking at you a little bit. But yeah, it's a tricky one, because your brain, it's a powerful thing. You feel you could swear on anything. You could put your hand on any book and say, I swear that there's something in my pockets right now. And I have no reason to say that, but I feel it in my soul. And it is tough. So I get it, Justin, those moments of and wanting that reassurance. It's especially if you don't do the thing, and then you're oh, it's almost like bargaining with yourself. Oh, I didn't turn my pockets out, but I'll just ask for a little bit of reassurance. It's still that brain asking for that closure. So it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one.
I did something. I tried to trick my brain one time when I was writing this book, because I was writing, one of the chapters was going to be about what we do, what our brains do, okay, and the thought process, right, and bad and good thoughts. And I was thinking real happy thoughts, laying in my bed, the ocean waves and all that, and everything was beautiful. And then I tricked myself, and I started thinking of really bad thoughts. Well, I started to I was like, oh my God, and I was like, it's fake, and I'm telling myself, it's fake. And you know what's amazing? Our brain believes it. Whatever we feed it, even this much, our brain has to believe that that's real. And that's the sad part here. Kyle, I have a question, and for both of you. When you're diagnosed with OCD, do they say anything about what may have caused it?
Sorry. Is it
I'll
okay
take
if I?
that.
Go ahead.
Okay, do you want to take that one, Justin?
Yeah,
Both
sure.
of you,
I'm
yes.
sorry. So, what was the question, Jerry?
Okay. When they diagnosed you with this, did they tell you what may have caused it? You'll both answer this.
I wouldn't really say they asked about what caused it. They might have. I don't really remember. But sometimes I'll try to remember what caused it. I remember my mom saying something about it was I was instead, and this is a memory that I don't even remember, but my mom told me this. So my mom says that she remembers that I was in second grade, and I would constantly see some coins on my teacher's desk, and I would always fear that I am constantly taking them. So I would probably have to check my pockets or anything like that. I don't really know. I mean I'm not really gonna get into what caused for the other themes but I just wanted to share
Okay.
just
No,
one of them.
thank you for sharing that, because someone out there needed to hear that, Justin. Kyle, were you ever told by a doctor or a therapist what could cause this?
I've had plenty of the beautiful part about the podcast has been that I've had the opportunity to talk with a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. And the thing is that there's really no definitive. Something that can kind of be a partial reason is chemical imbalances in the brain in terms of serotonin, and that's why you take things like sertraline, Zoloft, that medication or Lexapro or whatever it may be. So it can come from a chemical imbalance, and sometimes when you regulate those chemical imbalances through medication, it can ease the symptoms.
Okay.
But in terms of a psychological, almost kind of mind-oriented reason, that's still something that's being very much worked on. It's something that's being studied. So there's really I've talked to some people who have kind of talked about trauma is something. Trauma and high cortisol levels can be something that can induce a wide range of mental illnesses and later in life or late onset, whatever it may be. But exactly why there really is, it's kind of still a bit of a shot in the dark. So yeah, it's definitely it's hopefully we have some answers soon, because it would be nice to know some kind of definitive. But
Well, I did a couple protests in Trenton before COVID with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and for our constitutional rights and for other things as well. And he believes that it could be something in some vaccines from back in the day that could have also put the imbalance in the brain. They're working on all this. Sugar is a huge culprit with everything. Sugar. Do you consume a lot of sugar, Kyle?
I definitely don't go out of my way by any means. I'm not a big I would say I probably do, just because our diets are we have a lot of sugar just put in things that really don't need sugar. Whether it's salad dressings or whatever that may be, kind of thing. So I probably eat more sugar than I should. But definitely sugar, sugar and stress. Those two things will put you in the dirt faster than
Yes.
a lot of other things in life. So it's yeah, it's a nasty
Yeah.
nasty little byproduct for sure.
I had to change everything 32 years ago. I'm a vegan and everything's organic,
Mhm.
no sugar in my diet at all. All my labels are red. I mean, but sugar is the biggest culprit for so much when it comes to the brain. The brain thinks you're putting in drugs, heroin. It doesn't
Mhm.
know the difference, and that's
Yeah,
what's
it affects the
sad.
same part of the brain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. So Justin, what about you, sweetie? Do you have a lot of sugar in your diet?
The only reason why I'm gonna say yes is because I still am trying to kind of get to the point where I really can just feel on top of the world, to be honest.
Okay.
Carbs are absolutely my biggest enemy, and there is one food that I cannot live without, and that's cheese.
Okay.
Seriously, I am a big cheese addict. Okay, cheese fries, mac and cheese, cheeseburgers. Like
Okay.
I it really, and I do have a lot of problem with some of the high cholesterol due to like the triglyceride count. I am on medication for that, and you know, sometimes I really do fear that it's like someday my body really isn't going to take it anymore. My stepdad is actually a type 1 diabetic, and I honestly don't want diabetes in my future at all.
Well, I'm here to help you with that. Okay, so I can guide you and give you a diet and all that for that, and you won't get it. I'm here. My services are free, kiddo, okay?
Yep.
What you don't know, Kyle, is I cured myself of 2 cancers when I was in my late 20s and then late 30s. Colon
Wow,
and breast. I did it all naturally. I fasted for 2 months on
that's
nothing
amazing.
but water, brought a home colonic system in, got certified in fasting, so I do all that, but I'll help you. But now, back to you guys. Kyle, do you have a question for Justin? And Justin, do you have another question for Kyle? Kyle,
Mhm.
you go first.
Hmm. Just
Anything,
trying to put the
anything you
podcaster
want
hat
to
on
bring
for a
to the
sec.
forefront? Yep.
Yeah. I guess my biggest thing is I'm big on I like the check in, and I think that Justin, you said it right off the rip. This is the first time you talked about this stuff. Am I right there? Is this the first time that you really kind of hopped on a pod and talked about this stuff at length?
Um, I have a kind of shared a little bit of what was going on, but I never really
Right.
explained that really much in detail. Like
Sure. So how do you feel? I mean, you haven't talked about it a lot in detail, but we've talked about it today. And obviously, when you talk about this stuff, I remember the first time that I talked about my stuff, I slept for about probably had a 12, 13, 14 hours sleep after I did, because I was so it was years of pent up, not letting it all out. And then all of a sudden I talked about it and I was absolutely exhausted emotionally, mentally, physically. I was zapped. So I'm curious how
oh
you
yeah,
feel right now.
I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna feel the exact same way. But
Any
God,
relief?
I just lost my train of thought. Seriously, yeah. See, this is what it does. It kind of it kind of gets you a little exhausted, and you just don't really feel talking to anyone. You just
Yeah.
really want to
Shut it all
just.
down.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. I get you.
Wow.
I'm curious, man. I'm happy for you, dude. I know I've said it a few times, but that's awesome. It's still, regardless of how you feel and all that kind of stuff, this is fantastic.
So,
Um,
Justin, do you have one final question for Kyle?
well, actually, I have two, and
Okay.
I will I'll
Fine.
definitely make them. I'll definitely make
No.
it quick.
Ask your 2
Um,
questions. Relax.
so, all right. So Kyle, yeah, is there any like, so when you were on Big Brother, like,
Mhm.
and and obviously, you are dealing with this, what would you say, definitely, helped you, get through that, tough moment? Because I'm pretty sure, going to reality TV and not talking to anyone in your life for a while was difficult for you.
Yep. Um, Meditation helped a lot. And then also like having a bit of a mission while I was in there, where I knew that I wanted to use that platform. Listen, reality TV was never something that I thought would be in my future, ever, ever, ever. I stumbled upon this through a fun coincidence, and I knew that like with this platform, this is one of Canada's most popular series, and we have millions of people watching every episode, and I just knew that like if I had the opportunity to go in there and raise a little bit of awareness, get one conversation I had about mental illness or mental health in general on TV and get everybody seeing it. That was why when I got evicted, I was like, listen, I want to let everybody out there know who's battling a mental illness or has mental health issues. You're not alone. There are resources available to you, and there's people who love you, because that was the biggest thing. Was I was like, I'm not just here for me. I'm not just here to play a game. I'm here to spread a message and do as much good as I can with this platform. Platforms are few and far in between, and when you get the opportunity to step up to the base and take a big swing and be able to make a big impact, that means a lot to me. So that was knowing that I was going in there to do something more than just play a game definitely gave me a bit more of a purpose to fight for, and that made it a little bit easier with the OCD stuff.
Okay. Yeah, and so I did have one more question.
Yeah.
And after you were done on reality TV, when you were evicted,
Yep.
I mean, did you ever have any thoughts hey, this really wasn't bad, and would you ever do reality TV again?
It's a good question. It's one that I wrestle with a lot. Because my experience on reality TV gave me a very unique perspective as a 24-year-old, as a young man, that is something that was invaluable, really. I mean, when I left the show, when I got evicted, I played a little bit of a villain. The way that I was the way that I was edited on the show, I was a bit of the bad guy. I tried to take up.
Yeah, well, just a newsflash, I root for the villain every time.
The villain's a fun person to root for. I tried to take on big alliances, and I tried to tear alliances apart and get people pointing at one another, and that was just kind of the game that I wanted to play. And when I left, I had a lot of people who, thought that they knew who I was as a human being and as a person based on this character that they saw on TV. And I got, hated on and death threats and all that kind of stuff. And that was really tough as somebody who struggled with their self-worth at points in their life. That was a very tough thing to every time you open up your phone, you're seeing people, you're scum, you're the worst, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. And especially as somebody who's been suicidal at points in their life, also to open up your phone and say, hey, kill yourself and all that kind of stuff. That was tough. But at the same time, it gave me the opportunity as a 24-year-old to look myself in the mirror and be like, I like me. I'm happy with what I've built, and I don't need anybody else's approval. I'm good. I'm good with me. And so that was that was a powerful thing. It's kind of hard to be shaken off your stand when you've had the worst of the worst kind of criticism come at you, and you've just stood there and been like, listen, I'm donating to charities. I'm spending my time talking with, elementary school and post-secondary kids about mental health destigmatization. I'm doing a lot of stuff that I'm really proud of. So it gave me a very unique perspective. Would I do it again? It's something I'm still working on. I would be open to it for sure. Would I do Big Brother again? I don't know. That would be the tough thing. If somebody was like, hey, do you want to do Amazing Race or something like that? Or do you want to go and do a competition show? I think I'd be all hands on deck. I'd be ready to go. But if somebody was like, I want you to put you back in that environment and give you the same stresses as last time, it would be a conversation with the people that I care the most about to see if that would, be in my best interest.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, well, good for you. You got everything figured out.
Hardly.
All right, I think I'm going to read this next poem, okay?
Amazing.
So this poem, guys, it's a short poem, but I want everybody out there to listen. If anyone is depressed, has suicidal tendencies, listen to the words of this poem, and I'm here to listen, okay? Reach out to me. You don't have to be alone. This poem is called Put Down the Gun, and the gun can be anything that you're planning on taking your life with. I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe, locked in my room, 'cause I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do. But I kept on hearing that gentle voice, put down that gun. You have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day, but that's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. You do have that power, guys, okay? Always ask someone for help, please. I'm begging you. Kyle,
Always remember.
is there anything you'd like to leave everyone with? And do people reach out to you, talk about your show again? Like whatever it is you want to let everybody know, now's your chance. And if there's something you forgot to talk about, the mic is yours.
Sure. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I would say that what we've been building. My podcast is called Life's a Wreck. You can find it. You can find it anywhere you get podcasts. And kind of the whole idea behind it is it's a casual introduction to the world of mental health. It's a community where we take the opportunity just to destigmatize conversations and just talk about stuff like human beings, not talk about stuff like computers or textbooks or whatever. But we just connect on a human level about mental health. We open up the conversations, we create safe spaces for each other. It's a lot of fun. And so I would say, feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram is probably the place I'm most active. At Life's a Wreck Podcast is the podcast. And then at Morsey with 3 Ys, that was my nickname growing up, is where they can reach me on my personal account. But yeah, I think just the biggest thing is just to know, and like we've seen today, and Justin sharing his story, and then having the opportunity, and thank you, Jerry, again for having me on. This has been a lot of fun. But to have the opportunity to talk about this stuff, like you are not alone. There are people out there who are going through what you've been through, and people who have come out the other side. And I think that's the thing. It's like to understand this is simply a part of your story. Jerry, you're talking about your book. Like this is just a chapter in the book. And it's something that this might be a theme throughout the book. Like I said, I will, for the rest of my life, OCD will be a part of my life. General anxiety disorder, anxiety will be part of my life, but it is not the thing that defines who I am.
That's right.
And it's just been, I've been able to turn the worst part of my life into the best part of my life. And I don't think that that's a rarity. I think that that's something that is everybody is capable of doing that. I'm nobody special. I'm just a kid from a small town in New Brunswick, Canada. I'm a nobody. And that's the beauty of it, is that like I'm nobody. And yet I was able to live. And I think that that's the best part, and the part that I'm so thankful for is I just got to live. And I've, since those moments where I said I've experienced the extremes of life and I've never had a happy moment, I've had plenty of happy moments. And I've just like, it's the most amazing thing in my life. And I'll tell you, I'll never value life more than I do now because of the shit. Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. Relax. You were great the whole show. It's okay.
Thank you.
You have a pass. You have a pass.
All right. I apologize, but the not so great stuff that I've been through.
The crap, baby.
The crap that I've been through. So it's you are more powerful than you'll ever imagine, and I look forward to one day hearing your story. Because I just think it's one that always deserves to be told. So when you're ready to tell your story, I'll be excited to listen.
So, Justin, what would you like to say to everyone listening?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you to you, Jerry, for allowing me to share my story, and also thank you, Kyle, for taking the time out of your crazy world to come chat with us. And most of all, thank you to all the fans listening. Without you, we are nothing. And just stick around, because we definitely have. I can definitely think that this is definitely not the last show you're going to see me on.
So first of all, I want to thank both of you. Justin, I want to thank you again for being my guest co-host today. And I love you, man. And listen, just talk to this guy when you feel those things, because he can help you better than anyone, okay? And there's hope, Justin. There's always hope, okay, sweetheart? So always know that. And you can call me anytime, you do, but I don't think I can help you, and I'll always be there for you, but I don't think I can help you like this guy can, because he knows it. He's living it. And look at what he's doing, right? Amazing.
Well, I definitely believe that anyone can help anyone,
Yep.
if they just aren't really too quick to judge, and if they're just willing to listen to what's going on.
Of course. I'll always be there to listen and give you a little bit of my advice. But this guy right here, Kyle, I want to thank you for honoring us today with this. you have helped many people right now just on this show here, and I can't imagine all the people you've helped on yours. So, you know, never stop. Never stop. And write the book. Please.
I will.
Please write the book. It could save a
Yeah,
life,
please
right?
do. I will definitely buy that book.
And this
get
isn't
there.
over, because down the road in a few months, let's do another interview. I'll get a couple dates for Justin, because I'm sure you're going to have a few more things to talk about, incredible things that have
Always.
happened. Okay? So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think you're incredible. Justin, you know I love you. And Kyle, please don't stop.
Thank you, Jerry. I won't.
Okay?
Don't worry about that.
God bless you. Producer, take us out, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.